So as we looked at it, we found out that presidential candidates in Ghana over the last many years usually do a bit more in the voting than their respective parliamentary candidates. So it means that there's always a marginal skirt and blouse voting in Ghana. So when you finish and you tabulate the figures of the election, you will see that the presidential candidate usually garners more votes than the parliamentary candidates put together. So if you're MPP, all your parliamentary candidates put together, it should have a show lesser than the presidential candidate. It always means that some people voted for the presidential candidate that didn't vote for the parliamentary candidate. That always happens. Let's get to the touch screen and begin the analysis. So we start with 2008. All right. Now, in 2008, this is the outcome of the first round of the presidential election. Presidential votes 4 million for Professor Mills, 4,456,634 for Professor Mills. For the NDC parliamentary candidates, and you can see it on your screen, viewers, on the right-hand side of your screen is the NDC votes, and the left-hand side is Professor Mills's votes. Okay, so you see parliamentary candidates, NDC parliamentary candidates gets 3,720,669. That's the difference. Let's move it and see the clear difference. The clear difference is 335,000 people voted for Professor Mills who did not vote for the NDC candidate. That was the reflection of the 2008 results. And I'm showing to you because if we look at the MPP side, you see the same thing where the presidential candidate is getting a bit more votes than the parliamentary group. So that's Professor Mills's record of 2008. Let's move on to John Dramani Mahama now. Okay, now this election 2012, okay. Now, in election 2012, President Mahama garnered 5.5,761,000 votes. NDC parliamentary candidates garnered 5.1,027,646,000 votes. Let's see what the difference is. This is the difference. This is the highest number of votes difference between a presidential candidate and a parliamentary group in the history of the Fourth Republic. This one, John Mahama's 447,000 votes garnered over the NDC total, the aggregate of the NDC parliamentary votes in 2012 was 447, is by far the highest in the history of the Fourth Republic. Now, it came up in the election petition where the petitioners complained about this situation, that how come President Mahama is getting more votes in such a huge excess of the candidates, even though that's not quite normal. But this is the President Mahama record. I'm building it up to 2024, and I'll tell you why the opponents of President Mahama are saying that he may not be a good candidate for the NDC, even though we believe that he's a presumptive candidate right now. This is just academic anyway. So this is President Mahama in 2012. Okay, let's move on. All right. Now, this is President Mahama in 2016. Now, in 2016, the NDC lost heavily in Parliament. We know that they lost about, 47 seats in Parliament, something like that. And President Mahama was heavily defeated, if you like, over 1 million votes. But let's see what happened in this analysis that we present. President Mahama wins 4,771,188 votes as the presidential candidate of the NDC. NDC parliamentarians get 4,558,443 votes. What's the difference here? The difference is 212,000 in favor of President Mahama. This is 2016. Now, 2016 is when the NDC lost an election quite heavily, and this is what happened. President Mahama is gaining 212,000 votes off what the parliamentary candidates got. Now, all of that, this trajectory, and you see it also in MPP at the same. It's the same thing you see in MPP. Maybe I should go quickly to the MPP one, and then I can come back to deal with the presidential election. So if you look at 2012 here, 2012, you see presidential elections here. President Mahama has 5 million. His parliamentary has 5 million. Difference is 447. You look at Akufo-Addo, you see he has 5 million, 5.2 million. Parliamentary is also 5.2 million. Difference 36. Only 36 people voted for Akufo-Addo in 2012 that did not vote for the MPP parliamentary candidates, the aggregate of it. Only 36. That's the data that we have. The only 36. That's what it is. President Mahama had a difference of 447,000. It came up in the court issue. Let's move on to 2016. In 2016, you will see that, as we already said, President Mahama has a vote of 212,747,000. That's what it is. And President Akufo-Addo now gets as much as 127,000 above his parliamentary candidate. So the record of 2012 still stands as the best record, the highest number of votes that any candidate got over his parliamentary elections. Now, this is 2020, what I'm looking for. In 2020, something different happens. President John Dramani Mahama gets 6,213,183 total votes. His parliamentary candidate do better than him for the first time. And it would appear that it's for the first time really in maybe any political record in the Fourth Republic. For the first time in 2020, President Mahama's parliamentary candidates are doing better than him by what margin? Here, 283,697. That's the focus of the Do4 campaign. The focus of the Do4 campaign is that President Mahama is a man on the descendancy in terms of his popularity within the party. That if you elect him as your party candidate, you may have to contend with these figures. We don't understand why this happened. This is the outcome. In terms of how it happened, the jury is out on that. We can all make guesses, but this is the outcome. And the outcome is significantly different from outcomes of elections in the Fourth Republic. It is only in 2020, and in respect of only John Dramani Mahama, that his parliamentary candidates, the aggregate of their numbers is higher than his number by as much as almost 300,000. 283,697 people voted for NDC parliamentary candidates that did not vote for President Mahama. That's a huge number. Significant. That's the only time it happened. This is the outcome. We don't know what it is, but that's how those who don't support John Mahama, that's what they're going to see. Tonight, we've seen one such person. It's a bit surprising to me, Rojo Metal. No, I've always known him as a Mahama loyalist, but Rojo is a sort of cadre. He comes from the older versions of the NDC. In an interview he granted to City FM's Umaru Sanda, Rojo seems to say that he will support Dr. Dufo. Have a listen.
On and on about me and not about Dr. Kobna Dufo. I'm telling you that he is the best person in terms of leadership to take us out of this economic madness. And that is my position.
Is your position either Dr. Kobna Dufo or the highway, or if he loses, you're willing to support anybody else that the party produces?
Well, the party has an opportunity to allow the grassroots to decide who leads them. I will respect the will of the electorate. I trust that if NDC conducts the election, listening to the grassroots, and we are able to let them understand the current challenges we are going through, they will give Dr. Kobna Dufo the opportunity to lead us out of the current situation we are having. It has nothing to do with me liking John or not liking John. I'm thinking of the best that Ghana can offer through a leadership opportunity of Dr. Kobna Dufo. I love Ghana absolutely. I've been there for Ghana since 1992 in the strong room. I'm the longest serving representative of any political party in that electoral commission strong room. And I want to reassure you and all Ghanaians and all listeners that fairness, transparency, integrity of leadership of the EC is what we must be demanding.
Roger, thank you. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so you get the... I'm quite surprised about this, and it's quite new, so it's not yet been digested correctly, so we don't have much to say about that. But that's Rojo. That's the voice, unmistakable voice of Rojo Metal Nunu, who tonight is saying that he will support... And I'm saying to you that those people who are building up support for Dr. Dufo are doing so based fundamentally on this outcome. And they are thinking that, look, President Mahama is not even as popular as the NDC parliamentary candidate, the aggregate of it. If you go again with President Mahama, you may have difficulty. But we don't know what will happen in elections. President Mahama could win. Anyone could win. That's the nature of elections, like football, isn't it? But the campaign is a long way ahead.